our diva and queen of all alphas. She is now going to dare once again by performing the song Without You by Mariah Carey, a great classic full of complexity. Performing any of her pieces is very difficult. It truly represents the pinnacle of vocal technique. All these stars, Tina Turner, Whitney Houston, Mayara herself, and others, Beyoncé. And now, the girls are challenging each other too. They effectively make that turn to become a renowned soloist and soloist of great fame in Asia and the world. All these American pop stars, these divas, they sang incredibly well live, with the insane techniques. So, this is the right path that our girls here are taking for us. For us, they are already stars and queens. But now they need to project all of this to the world, and they are already at a level of quality that is enormous. So, she is coming here with the piece Without You, where she talks about loss, and even a certain desperation due to a romantic breakup. And let's see what Juria delivers for us this time.
You see it shows no one.
Here at the beginning of the song, this video started a bit cut off. I think the person started filming a little late. But in this beginning part, her characteristic vibrato, which is extremely intense and pronounced, her vibrato is really the most characteristic that exists, where you can hear a very clear oscillation of less than a quarter tone. Take a whole tone from C to D, diminish it so C to C hash. Take this and diminish it by half, so the oscillation of her vibrato stays within this range, between C and close to halfway in C hash. And she makes this oscillation, this note oscillation, and also the volume oscillation. It revolves around 5 to 7 oscillations in 1 second. 5 to 7 oscillations in 1 second. That's why it's very pronounced. You may notice this a lot. If she did the minimum, anything more would be exaggerated. She really pushes the limit. And she places this vibrato in the low notes, high notes, mid-range, wherever she wants, whenever she wants. It's unbelievable. Just like the divas do. She is identical to the divas. There's no difference. It's perfect.
You see it shows no one can forget tomorrow. When I think about my sorrow, when I had you there, but then I let you go.
Her voice, in the low range, as always, very well projected. It has volume, with vibrato. I won't even talk more about the vibrato and the quality of her low notes. Even though she is a mezzo or a soprano, I still need someone, for God's sake, to tell me below. Ask her somewhere, I don't know. There are forums where you can talk to them. It's their private part. But someone ask her and tell me what her vocal classification is. I'm really curious about it.
About my sorrow, when I had you there, but then I let you go. And now it's only fair that I should let you know. What?
She had to pull back. Did you notice the backing vocals came in with her? And what happens? She's louder than the backing vocals. So what did she do? She lowered her volume so the backing vocals could come through. Look at the level. And here it's just the piano, drums, and the backing vocals that appear. So, she's in the front. And there's no backing vocal behind her. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, there's some for the low notes, because I listened to this song, exactly this performance here in another. Then there's another camera angle I used, which was lower on the stage. And I'm left wondering if there was a vocal playback accompanying her or not. Because, depending on the camera setup and where the person is, certain frequencies appear or disappear. In this recording, and I prefer to use this one because it's farther away, but it captures more low frequencies. And the other camera I saw was closer and captured more high frequencies. And I don't know if the high frequency is from her harmonics or if it's a vocal playback. I'm left in doubt. I tend to think there was no vocal playback. I think she's using her raw voice. Here, at least, it's very clear that she's alone. So you have the backing vocals, which are that parallel melody in another sequence of notes. That follows the cadence of what she's doing. It has, but the vocal playback providing support, I tend to think there isn't any. But then she lowered her volume so the playback could come through.
Oh, and now it's only fair that I should let you know what you should know.
The support of this monster, this girl is a monster. Her diaphragmatic support is unbelievable. The sequence she does in a single breath is really so long. It's very, very long. And in the low notes, where, depending on the technique, one, for example, reduced some support in the low range. So I used less air. But she came with really full diaphragm and lungs, in tune with incredible support. Your support and chises are impeccable, really. But the breath control of this monster here is unbelievable.
What you should know. I can't live the lyrics without you. I can't live anymore.
Listen to the low notes. She sang this low notes in the tone that, I forgot the name. Beyoncé does this. She sang in the tone she does. Mariah Carey, I said it wrong. Did you notice the volume drop? The note doesn't sound as clear. But she sustained it. She sustained the note. It loses a bit of projection as well. It doesn't sound as projected as she usually does. But she wanted to hit the low note just like Mariah does. And she did it. She delivered, in tune, audible. But she was very bold to do that. This would be one of those notes where I'd be screaming, saying how amazing it is. Usually we're impressed by the high notes, but this low note here was really good, considering that she isn't. She's not a contralto, a mezzo-soprano to contralto. She's a mezzo-soprano to soprano. She's not down here in terms of vocal range. In the range of notes, she can hit. So she's not Mariah Carey, who has a mid to low range, but she has a mid to high range, and she has all this quality here in the low notes. This here, I'm here on my D, this is my floor note. And maybe that one is on D3. Later, I'll write down below what note she hit. But it's impressive. And it's not the high note that's the most impressive, although it is, but the transition she made from the low note to this note, which here is a mid-range that isn't too challenging for her. Mid-range to high. She's still in her chest voice, maybe in the mixed voice, but it's not a full head voice. But she came out of that super low note, where she had little volume and with another configuration that's necessary to hit that low note. And she transitioned to the mid-range with volume and doing the yodel. That breaks into falsetto for the register, which gives it that crying character, that lamentation too. And she did. Simply perfect. It was perfect. This whole sequence, so she's already using belting, although in a region here between her mixed voice. She's in a mixed voice, opened up the belting. Remember what I said in the previous video where I analyzed her. She smiles. She does this opening here and you can see the little mark. She's opening up the belt, directs it to the nose but also opens it laterally. It's a belting a bit different in terms of characteristics compared to Chiza's. Chiza's is more in the upper part of the nose and forehead. Hers is more a bit lower, a bit more nasal and eye, and more open laterally. So, also low notes, even with the playback. Parallel, the backing vocal. On the side, you can hear it well. Her voice in that low range. Says you were leaving, but I guess that's just the way this story goes. You always smile, but in your eyes, your sorrow shows. Yeah. So she goes into falsetto as well, with uniformity, and you can't perceive the transition. Perfect and beautiful. You always smile, but in your eyes, your sorrow shows. Yes, it shows. It's a low note, incredible. Her lowest note there. To point out a small flaw, to be picky as a musician, I have to be. The last low note she hit in that sequence, she lost projection. It wasn't out of tune definitely, but she, at the time of fitting, because it's complicated to do that descending cadence, especially coming out of a mixed voice from head voice to chest voice, at the extreme. So at the moment she swallowed the voice, placed it more in the glottis. It's hard to lock in this with perfection and subtlety. This was the only flaw or mistake I've seen so far. And then she lost a bit of volume, lost a bit of the characteristic of her low voice that she usually projects with that resonance, and lost a bit of volume. But the note was in tune, it placed and it was perfect. But I need to be picky here as usual. And by the way, she did that, but vibrato all the time, and increased the volume after. She came in wrong, then she raised the volume, placed and went for it. She adds all the embellishments, adds the yodel. Didn't see vocal fry, or at least I didn't notice it here. The vibratos all the time, as always. And melismas, all the time too she does. Like Mariah Carey does. I think everything that Mariah does she does as well. It's really interesting that, now she has taken on the role of a diva. I'm singing as a diva and that's what I want to be. So, minimal accompaniment in the back, piano, drums, and occasionally some backing vocals. But it's her voice that's shining here. This is sensational. The lightness of this note now. It's the highest note she's hit. It was not a forced attack. It was within. It was in her vocal fit, in belting. As if the notes fit perfectly here. And she's always varying within this placement. Often when a singer goes for a high note, and as, these are usually regions that require more support, a different opening. Sometimes you lose that placement to force the high note. But she didn't. She hit the high note while maintaining her form. And that brought a smoothness that she often achieves in these high regions. So here, it's more noticeable that there's a backing vocal accompanying her. A playback vocal is accompanying her. But her volume is way ahead of the playback vocal, but far ahead. Didn't even need to be there, could take it out too, right Simon? Tear that out and let her sing on her own. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. And it's my preference, sorry. Anyway, it's not needed. She is at full volume here. Way ahead of the backing vocal. Everything in place perfectly aligned. And here, this higher note is perfectly placed as well. The contrast here is that she ended in a falsetto voice. Full voice. Falsetto. It's perfect. This here. Let's applaud our monster, our queen diva. It's high vocal quality. Boldness. High vocal quality. The incredible thing is that this interpretation is already very rich. If you listen to Mariah Carey, the level is absolutely absurd in terms of technique. And everything is very light, very relaxed. It's worth watching Mariah Carey's live performances in these songs. Especially from that era for those who aren't from that time. 90s or the 80s, I used to see a lot of that. But now go on YouTube and compare Juria to her and see. It's very interesting, and notice how far ahead Julia really is in this. In terms of technique, and she's on the right path, perfect. That's it. So congratulations to Juria. Her performance here was impeccable. I found just one mistake. One mistake. No, It doesn't even come close to being a mistake, it was a tiny imprecision. So we can say it's 99.9. I'll never be able to give 100. But something always happens. I'll give 999 this time. So, if you like this video, leave your like and your comment below. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. And consider making a donation below using the super thanks button. Or through the first pinned comment with the PayPal link. Alright, see you later.